We here at Breakers want to show you the difference between us and the other guys when it comes to concluding the installation, which is tuning the system to get the best sound possible without having any problems in the future. Breakers goes above and beyond and actually has some of the best electronics and tools that you can use to make sure that you set the gains and the outputs appropriate to where you won't have any audio clipping or any issues with the sound. The first one we use, which is pretty traditional, is a traditional multimeter. Fluke, being one of the best brands, tends to be the most reliable. This is a great way to be able to check that you have the proper ohms for your speakers, no issues with speakers grounding out, and also checking and setting the output voltage of amplifiers. This is a beginning tool. The next one, a little bit bigger. My meter's bigger than yours. This one is an oscilloscope. This is actually going to show a pretty little picture on here showing me the sine wave as the sound comes out of the amplifier. We're going to show you in a minute how this is actually done with adjusting high-low adapters or even amplifiers themselves. So through here, it allows me to see a perfect sine wave coming, which shows that there's no distortion and no clipping coming through the system. For real high-end systems, which allows us with equalization to do more tuning and really set everything up, we also have a real-time analyzer. When this bad boy is turned on, you have a whole bunch of lights, and it shows all the different frequencies of the sound range from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz and how loud it will be. We get into a car, we play a pink noise, which is just a static hush noise, and we can balance out a system to make sure that you don't have too much of one frequency versus another. Very, very important tool. As technology's gotten even better, it's required us to stay on top and even use electronics such as laptops via Bluetooth to do some adjustments. One of the companies, Rockford Fosgate, uses a program called the 360.2, which allows me, with the RTA, to fine-tune the whole system. So I would use the RTA with a special microphone inside the car, have an audio listing of where everything is at, if the mid-range is too low, the mid-range is too high, such, and then I come through on the actual laptop and can adjust those frequencies either up or down to get the picture that I want and the sound necessary out of the RTA. These are the extra steps that we do here at Breaker Stereo to ensure that you get the best sound possible out of your system. Ask your guys how they tune the system. We're in here doing the final tunings for the Honda Accord with the system. We've used high to low adapters in this vehicle because we've kept the factory in-dash 6-disc player. Step one that we need to do is on the high to lows, we need to adjust the output to make sure the signal coming out of the system is not distorted and clipping. We have two different meters hooked up here, the oscilloscope to make sure the sine wave is clean, and then the other one to check the output voltage. So I'm going to come into the system, adjusting these. As you can tell, when I do this, the voltage goes up. I'm able to get maximum output of these without the signal clipping. So next I need to make sure that the right and the left have the equivalent output voltage, 1.75, so you don't have a right or left bias coming from these. For time purpose, we've already actually done the back ones. This one's a little higher, so I bring it back down to match the other. And you need to get pretty darn close. That's good. So with those two set up, we now know we've got a clean signal coming from it. We've played a 500 hertz track. Our next step is we're going to go to the amplifier, and we're going to tune the amp. The final steps of doing the tuning in this Honda Accord, now that we've done the high to lows, is to go to the amplifier and actually do the tuning of the output gains of the amp. The way you find out what your proper output voltage is that you'll read on your meter is by a simple equation. You're going to figure out what the true RMS power per channel is going to be times the ohms that channel is going to be sitting at and take the square root of that answer. For this situation, we're actually using a Cerwin Vega, the SX440.4. That amplifier is rated at 65 watts per channel. We're going to have each channel at 4 ohms, so you can see mathematically that works out to where our output voltage we want is 16.12. So that number is what I want to show up here. That is your maximum output that you can do. Once you're done with the tuning of the system, it's okay to go back and set up your staging and make sure if you need to lower it, you can, but never above. So I plug into the gain. I slowly starting to increase this until I get close to the 16.12 that I need. Which, right on the dot. Anything above that is going to have a distorted signal. So you do not want to go above. You would do the same thing for the rear channels as well. So once you're finally done there, the last step is get into the vehicle, the driver's seat, turn on a CD, some kind of a source that you recognize the music, and take a listen. You want to make sure that the front versus the rear is not overpowering, and you want to make sure the sub is balanced to the rest of the system. Again, it's okay to adjust the gains down, but you really do not want to adjust the gains up. That's the final tuning of the Honda Accord, showing you how Breaker Stereo does it better than the other guys.